talking into the ether.
I'm not supposed to lean into something.
I feel like I'm addressing the United Nations. But instead, I'm here to solve the problem for you with my friend Nicole of Maplesaur Cosplay. I am Sam of Samantha Winslow Cosplay. And we're going to solve what do you do if you think you can't cosplay.
Spoiler alert, you can cosplay. That's it, go home.
No. Stay here. She's being silly. So as I said, I am Sam. I have been cosplaying now probably almost 8 years-ish, give or take. My cosplay partner is my mother. She is much more gifted with a sewing machine than I am. I do mostly the props and wig stuff, and have won one award at Super Mega Fest in Framingham in the before times. And I live in Connecticut with 2 psychotic, evil cats.
And who were you at PAX this year, in case they saw you?
So this year, Friday, I was Imogen from the new Critical Role. If you were here yesterday, I was with the League group as Timo.
All right. And I am Nicole Rosenthal of Maplesaur Cosplay. I am one half of Maplesaur Cosplay. The other half is my lovely husband sitting in the second row here.
Give him a wave, Dan. not us, give them a wave.
And so I've probably been cosplaying about 5 years. I haven't done a ton of competition, but I did place in Connecticon's last cosplay competition. If you've been around PAX for the whole duration, you may have seen me as Misty, being the handler for a Graves with a very big gun, and that was my husband up there. You may have also seen me in this outfit, which, is it a cosplay? Is it not? It's from Something is Killing the Children. Any horror fans out there may or may not know it.
That is a graphic novel, yes.
Yes, graphic novel. And yesterday I was Camille on 3-foot stilts. You would have been very lucky if you saw me because I got booted. So it was not long-lived.
They did not like her. Yes. All right. Oh, you didn't tell them about your pets.
Oh, okay. I guess the rest of the intro is I'm a circus person and I'm a mom of pigs. That's it. There's nothing else interesting about it.
Yeah, she lives a very boring life.
Very normal.
So to start you off, we'll share our golden rules for cosplay. Just starting off, you can get cheap and fast, you can get cheap and good, or you can get fast and good. If you have no money and 2 days until your convention, it's probably not going to be in your favor. That's going to be your best work. If you have a longer span of time, you probably get it done on a budget and have it come out pretty cool, but you don't get all of that.
Yeah, you got to pick just 2.
Practice makes perfect. I know. Who has ever done something perfectly the first time they do it?
Me always. Yeah, always.
Rude. As you do bigger projects and more projects and you think so on, you're going to. It's okay to mess up because that's just going to teach you. I know I just made in a week. A Pajama Guardian, Star Guardian Lux staff for one of my friends, and it was a learning experience, and there are 100 things I'm like, oh, I would have done this differently, and I was just rushing through it, so that's how it be.
My first foam armor cosplay, when I made it, I was like, this is so good, this is the best thing, I'm going to rewear this all the time. And then I saw people that are actually good foam smiths, and I learned more, And now, like, I can dig that out of the tote bin it lives in, and it's like, this is horrible. This is truly not good.
The other thing is you can always make upgrades later. I know further in, I have pictures of one of the characters that I've done multiple times now. I think I've done like 5 iterations of Ariel from The Little Mermaid. Each time, it's a better wig, a better shell bra, a better skirt. You can kind of upgrade things and add things on over time. Because as you make things and you wear them and so on, you're going to realize the things like, ooh, like I said, you could have tweaked that a little bit, and improve it for the next time you want to wear that costume.
Oh yeah, my Negan I think is on 4 iterations at this point. It was my very first cosplay, and I keep reworking it, better each time.
The other thing is, especially with like Instagram and TikTok and everything now, you're going to see those, professional or, very hardcore cosplayers out there all the time. A lot of them are, getting sponsors from different places, or, they're being paid to do convention appearances or to write books or produce content, and that's their full-time job. The rest of us have day jobs, and that takes out 40 plus hours of our week that we don't have time to be doing cosplay things. So, they do have resources and, not unlimited, but more than probably the average you or I in this room might have.
Oh, can I take this one?
The 5-foot rule?
I live by this rule.
This is like my number 1 rule.
So the 5-foot rule, this is like when you're working on your cosplay and you're being really nitpicky, you're looking at every little detail, like, oh my gosh, this one little stitch got skipped. Nobody's gonna see it. Take 5 feet back, look at it with fresh eyes, look at it how the people around you are gonna be looking at it, and realize, it's great if you want to get it absolutely perfect and you have the time and you have the money, go for it. But it doesn't have to be perfect past the point where, standing 5 feet back.
I don't want to call out anyone in the audience, but nobody's going to notice if the seams in your armpit all line up.
No.
If they do, that's weird. The next one I'm going to hand over to Nicole.
Oh, convention/venue rules. Yeah, you should know these rules. You should live by these rules. And when someone tells you that you're breaking the rules when you're not, you just try to get out of that situation. And generally, in PAX in particular, the enforcers are really good about knowing the rules, and they can help you out if you have questions on the fly. But the rules are always posted online ahead of time. I don't know if any really rule-intense people in the audience noticed that there was a rule change in the cosplay rules for PAX. That I don't know if it was super advertised, but I noticed. So if you noticed it, come talk to me after. And if you can guess it, I don't have any prize for you, but I'll give you a business card or something and a high five.
Yeah, we have lots of business cards, lots of high fives. But also, too, if if Nicole is making a cosplay that revolves around her wearing her stilts, but she's going to a convention center that has a con that has a hard and fast rule that they don't allow stilts, okay, well, maybe she's going to wear that to a different convention. But she's not going to bust her butt to make it for that one.
Exactly, and you can always send an email, too. I've sent emails before, like, this thing isn't specified, but I understand I'm a freak of nature, and I'm going to do things that maybe you didn't realize had to be in the rules, so you can always just email and check.
Yeah, if you're not sure, you can always clarify. There's also going to be a difference between what you're going to make as a fun costume versus something that may be a competition piece, if that is something that you are interested in. Competition, they're going to be looking more closely at that craftsmanship.
Yep, they will ask to see the lining in your jacket or whatever.
But probably not the armpit.
Probably not the armpit.
but they are going to look more closely at those details, and you are going to have to kind of maybe be a little bit more meticulous. And there's usually 2 rules about how much you can use like a pre-made dress and modify it or so on. Again, different competitions are going to have different rules. If you're just cosplaying for fun, you do you. But first, and this is my favorite,
This is all you. I don't do
if you
this.
get your stuff organized, it is going to save you so much time, so much money, so much everything, because you're going to be able to see what you have, and it's going to be better for you all around. Planning and organizing. This is something I actually just started recently. I got a binder. I printed my reference photos and I put them on the outside pockets and kind of listed out the different pieces of the costume so I could keep in track of what I had to make or get or so on throughout. Organization doesn't have to be expensive. I made this super cool acrylic paint holder out of like, I don't know, $20 worth of like PVC pipe and a bunch of hot glue.
I actually have something cool for this. I have a drawer. I open it. I just throw everything in there.
And how
Also
often do you buy more black acrylic paint because you can't find your black acrylic paint?
Honestly, I go through it so fast, it doesn't even matter.
But as you if you take that time to have your stuff organized, like I said, you're going to be able to see what you have, and not spend money on something that you already had 5 things of black acrylic paint or 1,000 sticks of hot glue, and that's going to be more beneficial in the long run. I know Pinterest, TikTok. TikTok is actually I think where I got the acrylic paint idea. And like you can go anywhere, Dollar Tree, sometimes you find great things, Home Depot, IKEA, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, Amazon, the list goes on. My wigs, I actually hang them in their plastic bags on like a tiered pant hanger. And if you go on my Instagram, I actually have a picture of the shelf that I made for the stuff that stays pre-styled with my wig heads. That was like a 10-minute project. Well,
Your wig shelf is intense. It's quite nice.
I love it. So the first thing that might be stopping you from doing cosplay is I'm too old, or I'm too fat because I didn't work out at all during COVID, or that character isn't the same gender as me. It's about you. You do you. You're not cosplaying for anybody else. The primary goal should be choosing something that's going to make you feel, comfortable and confident, and that you're going to have fun working on that project because you're excited about it. If you, say you're going to make, Slave Leia, but you know that you're going to be uncomfortable wearing that skimpy outfit out, well, if you're not going to be comfortable wearing it, don't,
Maybe bodysuit it.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. You can always, add or modify pieces, leotards, shapewear. I am always a big fan of, and you can. I've found like brand new slips or bodysuits, at like thrift stores. Those are a lot of the times something that people buy and then never wear, or they buy and they wear for like, one wedding or event, and then it goes to the thrift store almost brand new. So if you're not grossed out by that,
I'm not grossed out.
You can get stuff really cheap. Otherwise, my friend is Kohl's. If you have coupons and you pay attention to the sales, you can usually get some pretty good stuff there as well. Also in the body type gender category, before we go too far, is the question of race or ethnicity. Be respectful.
No blackface.
Yeah, obviously no blackface. There's
simple.
I know there's always mixed opinions, but I feel as long as you're being respectful about it, you know, you do you if you love that character. Gender bend cosplays.
Oh, I can grab this one.
Okay, you do a lot of this.
I do a lot of gender bend cosplays, totally on accident. I do a lot of like horror stuff, and so like, if you've been at PAX in past years, you've maybe seen the 8-foot Pennywise or the giant Slender Man. Those were me. So yeah, I'm not usually one for like the pretty cosplay. You know, I'll throw a Misty in there on like handler days. But I do love to be a big scary man. So I mean, gender bend is like a great way that you can put a spin on a costume. What I really like about a gender bend is that like it gives you a little bit more freedom. You can kind of like represent the characters with like the colors, the textures, the themes, and you don't necessarily have to, you know, do 100% like the same style. So it gives you a little bit of freedom, get a little bit more creative with it, and you know, it opens up your world to, you know, double the characters you would have options of before. So yeah, I don't shy away from any gender bend. So this is up on the right. We have my last iteration of Negan. That one has come a long way. You know, it's a simple cosplay, but I think it's, you know, people see that and they know that's Negan.
It's a recognizable character.
That's a womanizing woman right there. And then middle photo is my lovely husband again as Jinx. So again, you know, Jinx, female character, usually long hair and braids, but you know, we kind of use the patterns, we use the textures, and you know, we came up with something different and cool.
I did a like glam, you know, more feminized version of an Aquaman style costume. So lots of options, and like she said, it's, you know, very fun to kind of get creative and kind of design your own things. Cosplay for experienced nerds. We don't want to call anybody old, but there's lots of options out there that are, you know, maybe more, you know, age appropriate for, you know, somebody who's concerned about, well, I'm a little bit older, you know, I don't want to, you know, cosplay, you know, a character that's supposed to be 15. My mother, and if you've ever encountered Cosplay Dad, both, you know, a lot of different characters out there that are closer to their own ages, and always characters that are, you know, kind of very well received, you know, kind of gives you some more unique options. So getting into...
Oh, what if you don't know how to sew, though? I know how to sew.
I can do a straight line. I made a quilt.
Okay.
I made a quilt.
Okay. Well, there are lots of options if you don't know how to sew, even if you're not interested in learning how to sew. So one of the best things you can do, or easiest things you can do, is purchase items that, you know, kind of sort of are what you're looking for, but just need some alteration. I did a shell from Portal. Clearly this is, you know, very clearly the Portal jumpsuit, but I did not buy the Portal jumpsuit. I just bought a jumpsuit. It was just orange, and all of the white detailing I just painted on. Granted, that's a skill in itself, but I mean, you could also like Cricut that logo. There's any number of things that you could do, even if you have no artistic ability, to get that same look.
And if you don't own a Cricut, you can still buy the Cricut vinyl and cut out the shape with, if you have, well, you probably have scissors, and it's going to maybe take a little more work, but you can get the same effect. Also purchased and commissioned stuff. One of the characters I just had recently done was Marilyn Monroe. There is a pattern for the white dress, but the like party store bag one honestly was just as good, and the pattern was like kind of weird, and we were having trouble getting it to fit right. And yeah, store-bought, just fine. Hand sewing, lots of, you know, tutorials online. You know, if you need to, safety pins, fabric glue, hot glue,
Oh, hot glue is great.
a staple every now and then if you need. Like Tim Gunn says, make it work.
I actually saw an amazing tutorial for an Oogie Boogie, and I was looking this up when I was making my own version, and she literally hot glued the whole thing, the whole like giant burlap costume, and it held up. So I mean, hot glue isn't going to necessarily work with every material, but for burlap, turns out it works.
So, and if you have, sometimes if you have a fabric or a quilt shop near you too, sometimes they will offer classes. But let's say, like I said, YouTube is a font of information. The internet, your BFF. YouTube, Pinterest, Google. Like I said, now TikTok is becoming a lot more prevalent. You can learn Reddit. Yeah, you can learn almost anything if you are sometimes you have to be a little bit creative about how you're searching. But it's, like I said, tons of valuable information out there. And not even like cosplay stuff. I bought a house and it's been great to figure out how to do things without having to call my dad and wait 3 weeks for him to get it done.
Oh yeah, I'm a plumber now thanks to YouTube. None of it's insured, and so hopefully nothing goes wrong, but it works.
Networking. When you meet other cosplayers and you're taking pictures, you don't be afraid to kind of ask them, how they did X, Y, Z, or where they got a certain piece or so on. Most cosplayers love to talk about their cosplays. It's what we do. And most of them are going to be completely open to you offer suggestions or advice or support. Want to give a shout out to our entourage that is here. We have a group, probably among us, so many different skills and strengths and experiences that we'll sit at a table and it'll be 5 of us well, you could do it this way, or you could do it this way, or you could do it this way. Everybody's going to have tried different things that have worked really well, or tried different things that they're going to be oh, no, stop right there. Don't do that. And overall, it's just, the cosplay community I have found is, for the most part, is very accepting, welcoming, just kind of open to you kind of meeting people. And you just want to make sure, too, though, that you are being kind of respectful or grateful when somebody is taking, their time to kind of give you advice or kind of help you and support you in whatever ways. It said I don't have enough time. We don't have enough time to look at that slide. No.
Yeah, that's it. So what do you do if you don't have enough time to make a cosplay? Oh, no. So we've got some time-saving tricks. We've got a couple photos up here. So we've got me and my Misty from a couple years ago.
I got bored during COVID at the height
Tiger King?
of Tiger King.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, that was me in my backyard. My neighbors were probably very confused. I made my cat be a tiger.
It's adorable.
No, she hated it.
I can imagine she hated it.
Yeah, she's mean.
So
she's not mean.
Both of these cosplays, these are really, really quick thrown together things, but recognizable. I'm sure most of you knew one or both of these characters. So how do you throw together a very, very quick cosplay? So Amazon Prime can definitely be your friend. I hate to give Amazon a shout out because they're evil and should not exist.
Who has time to search all over, especially with gas prices these days?
Yeah, it is what it is.
And who has time?
Yeah, although I will say,
energy.
Often I shop on Amazon. I find the seller, and then I look them up to see if they have another website. And often they'll have their own promo code on their own website so that you can even get it cheaper from them. Sometimes Amazon Prime is faster. So, again, time-saving tricks. But if you can't avoid it, try to shop from the small sellers. We also have Party City, Spirit Halloween.
Whatever other party stores you may have around you.
Yeah, those will be super quick, super cheap.
And closet cosplays. Like, for example, Joe Exotic, everything came out of my closet. It was just something I decided to do one afternoon. Chances are you probably have a lot of clothes at home, or various things
No one
around
came here
the
naked,
house.
so they all have clothes.
Yeah, you all have. I can tell you all have clothes, and sometimes if you kind of look through those things, chances are you probably already have it. So that's kind of always a good first step is see what you got. With Amazon, also another caveat: check the reviews, especially like I buy a lot of my wigs on Amazon. I make sure any like wigs or clothes or anything that I'm buying, that I try to look for reviews with pictures, like from, so you're kind of getting actual customer photos rather than like whatever the generic markety photo is, because the
Very
customer
different.
photos, those are going to be kind of the real deal. What if I don't have enough money because I just spent a ton of money at PAX?
I spent all
That's
my
my
money
song.
to get in the door. Now what?
I wrote it for you. You're welcome.
I love it.
Where would I go to find cheap things?
Oh, you gotta let me take the first one. This is my passion. Thrift stores. Oh my goodness. I love to thrift shop, not just for cosplay, for everything.
Everything. But I do agree.
I try to go like the anti-consumption route where I'm like not buying anything new if I can avoid it. So like to the extent that I can make a cosplay a little bit more green, I will do it. Thrift shopping is an excellent way to do that. My Pennywise in the middle there, I found that raincoat at a thrift store. All I had to do was like bloody up the back of it after, and it was good to go. The ruffles around my neck were actually harvested from a dress that I found at a thrift store. I have some beautiful lace on there, which is actually, it's like vintage, like handmade lace, and I'm sure whoever made that is like horrified, rolling over in their grave at what I did with it.
Like,
but it's beautiful and cheap.
tag sales. We're getting into that time of year. If you're on the hunt for something or not, I am the person that stops at pretty much any tag sale that I can find, or the dumpster at your local apartments, where they're very wealthy people that throw lots of things away. But you never know what might be out there. Facebook Marketplace, again, always worth taking a look. Just obviously, if you're meeting with strangers, don't invite them to your home. Probably go with a friend, do all that smart stuff.
Yeah, most towns now have like a safe like meetup location.
Yeah, a lot of towns will allow you to like meet at the police station, or like even if there's like a strip mall or something near you, where you're not gonna get murdered. We don't like that. eBay or Poshmark?
All right, so take caution with these ones. I just had like a Poshmark horror story as I was prepping for this con, but I started early looking for what I needed.
Give yourself time.
That's like, this is, if you're going to go this route, you need to give yourself time with Poshmark in particular, because what will happen is, someone cleans out their closet, they're like, oh, I'm going to make some money. Things don't sell for a while. They kind of forget about the app. You can see like someone's like last online time, and that can be a good hint as to whether like your item will actually be shipped. But quite often you'll like order something and then you get a notification like, yeah, it wasn't shipped. You can't reach the seller. So it's just canceled. So I think I went through 5 or 6 Poshmark orders on a very like particular boot that I needed, and I ended up just making boot covers because none of them shipped. None of them. So be wary.
Unconventional sources, like any like Project Runway, Drag Race, like any of those reality shows, the unconventional challenges are always like my favorite. You never know though where you kind of might find unusual items while you're out shopping. Dollar Tree and like other discount stores, who knows? You know, sometimes you're just looking for something that's the right shape and you kind of paint it or you kind of modify it. Tractor Supply, when I made my Daenerys, I think you can buy like the official chain. There's like people have 3D printed it, but it's super, super expensive. Tractor Supply, I bought like $5 worth of chain and
it looks so good because chain is chain, right? Like nothing's printed is going to be better than actual chain to make chain.
Home Depot or Lowe's, if you've like worked with foam, insulation foam is a big one, and there's just infinite other things that if you peruse the aisles of your local Home Depot, you will find a font of possibilities. IKEA, and this is actually almost kind of a kudos to actual Game of Thrones because some of the fur was IKEA rugs in the show, fun fact.
I love
when I was making my Arya costume, or my mother was doing the making, I was sourcing things. The original fabric that I had bought, we did not have enough to match the pattern, so we had to kind of start over. And I took a little trip to IKEA and found a couple of very nice blankets, and then took them apart, and that's how I made my cape. Next one, I'm just going to hand this off to Nicole.
Oh yeah, this is my favorite, unconventional materials. So as I was mentioning, I don't like to buy things. I don't like to throw things away.
I'm going to take a water break.
Sam's trying to get me to throw away my work gloves that like are more whole than glove at this point. We'll see. But I love using unconventional materials, things you would normally just throw in the trash. Many of you have probably used googly eyes, to make any sort of like rounded, piece of a cosplay. That's a pretty common one. I will use googly eyes for everything. But you'd be surprised, like if you just look in your recycling bin, the sort of things you can find. For my Jack Skellington and Oogie Boogie, my husband, who's a teacher, round of applause for teachers. They've been through a lot. Love all of you.
As I give them some snaps.
Seriously, if you're a teacher,
God bless you.
You're a better person than I am for making it through all this craziness. So good on you. So anyway, he's a teacher. He's one of those normal people that throws trash away. And he had these like binder inserts, these sort of like translucent inserts. And, it was just kind of like a piece of it, didn't really have a function anymore. And he was going to throw them away. And I was like, wait, that diffuses light. I'm going to hold on to that. And then, like 6 months later, I needed to diffuse light for these massive eyes. And, I shined a little LED behind that. Oh, perfect. So I mean, just be open-minded with like, kind of, the shape you need, the texture you need, and think about like, what are those shapes and textures? Like what comes in those shapes and textures? And you might be surprised what you find. My Vi in the left-hand corner there has some cat food containers. It's got some tampon applicators on the shoulder boulder. Not used. Those were just hanging around my house. So, that might be weird to some people, but I love to show that part off. And actually, those hands are mostly constructed out of Friskies boxes. So thank you to my cats for eating all that Friskies.
So kind of what are some other ways you can save money?